quadratic equation and solving it. Let's have a look. So we have solved the equation, and then we are given an equation to find the value of x. So that's what it means solving the equation and finding the value of the letter. Now give your answer in meters correct to the nearest centimeter. Just that x in this question represents the width of the poster. And that's important information, I will say at the end of the question. So when you have an equation, and in that equation in front of you, you have a letter, and the letter is taken to the power of 2. Now, what do you think about? I tell you, minus b formula. Minus b formula will become your best friend. Like in 5th and 6th year, you will be using it so much. So we need to know how to use that. Where is that minus b formula? So we go to our table, and if I remember correctly, it's on page 20. Oops, I passed that. My apologies. There it is, page 20, the very top of your page. You really, really need to know how to use this formula. If you know how to use this formula now, you're going to be ahead in 5th year. Okay, so let's see. In order to use this formula, I need to know what to put in place of letter B, in place of A, and C, and A here. And beside that, we are told that when you have a quadratic equation, that's how you know what is A, B, and C. A is a number that will be standing beside x to the power of 2. Not x to the power of 2, just the number beside it. B is a number that stands beside x that has no power. Again, not x, the number beside x. And C is the number that doesn't have x beside it. Now, at the end, we have 0, meaning when we are solving quadratic equation, we have to make sure that that's the way it looks like. So how do I know it's a quadratic equation? It has a letter to the power of 2 and another letter, so that's how we know. Okay, so let's identify what I'm going to do. I show you. We write the formula out, and really using this formula is not that difficult if we identify A, B, and C in our equation. So let's write them out. A, B, and C. So again, A, number that stands beside x to the power of 2. Let's see what number stands beside x to the power of 2 in our equation. That's 2. So that means that A is going to be 2. Then B is the number that stands beside x that have no power. Here, we don't have a number really beside x, but when we don't have a number beside letter, what do we have? 1. Exactly, that's what we have here. And C is the number that doesn't have x beside it. Now, be careful here. The value of C is minus 100, not just 100, because don't forget in your formula here you have plus. So that means that minus comes with 100. Okay, so that means that C is minus 100. And now all we have to do is to replace those letters. So B, we remove B, and in place of B, we put 1. So we put 1 here, and then we put 1 here. Then we have A and A here, and that's our 2. So we remove A, and we put 2 in that place. And then the last thing is to replace that C, and C is minus 100, so we remove that C and we put minus 100. Now, the reason why this formula have plus and minus, because in your calculator we put one version with plus, and then we go back and we remove plus, put minus in that place, and again we have the 2 answers. Now, it takes a skill to learn how to put all of that in your calculator. So make sure you practice so that you are able to do that. So when we put all of that in our calculator, we're going to get the 2 values, because one version will be with plus, and then we go again, and instead of plus here, we're going to put minus. So we're going to get the 2 values. So one value, because the answer has to be, give your answer in meters correct to the nearest centimeter. So 6.832 decimal place, because our measurements were in meters, and the second answer is minus 7.33. Now, one thing about minus b formula is that it always gives you 2 answers. So always always you have to check if both answers are applicable in the context of the question. Now, in this question, we are told that x is the width, right? So it's a measurement. So can I have measurement of 6.83 meters? Yes. But can I have a measurement of -7 meters? No, I can't. So not an applicable answer. So that's our answer here. So always with that formula, you're always going to get the two answers, and always make sure you check if both answers are applicable in the context of the question. And again, can't stress it enough. Make sure you really know how to use this formula, because it will really, really put you at the advantage in 5th year.